GF of 9 years fugged me over. Might be a long one. So my girlfriend of 9 years who has been living abroad while she studies for the last 4 years came back for Christmas 2023 around December 15th. We had been together since we were teenagers and always been best friends. Picked her up from the airport, she had been drinking on the plane and airport at the other side so was a bit tipsy. I got a job of the blow on the drive home for the first time in years and she played music on the drive. Things seemed normal when we got home other than she was on her phone a bit more and being maybe a bit more secretive than normal. I trusted her completely so thought nothing of it. Things were fine, took her for brunch the next day and sex was good. She was spending Christmas with her family, who I was always very close to, overseas and so she left again on December 22nd. While she was away for Christmas she was hard to get on FaceTime with but we FaceTimed on Christmas Day, spoke about our future etc. She sent me lots of pictures with her family. She came back on 27th and things seemed different. Spent a lot of time on her phone, watching movies she sat away from me, would take her phone with her everywhere. On 30th I came home from watching the football and she said she wanted to end things. She gave the reasons of me not doing enough for her, not buying flowers, she didn't trust me etc. Made a bit of an idiot of myself telling her I could change, telling her that she'd never mentioned any of this before. But there was absolutely no reasoning with her and her mind was made up. She then decides to give it a go, and we go on a city break we had planned on January 2nd for a couple of nights. We were intimate, we laughed and when I said goodbye after taking her back to the airport on January 6th she said she wants to make this work. 3 days later she's changed her mind again telling me she felt like she had settled for less, that nothing meant anything and that she didn't want to do this and that she needed space. Devastated I agree to give her space in the hope it will bring her back to me. Over Christmas she'd told me strange things that again I thought nothing of when she told me because I trusted her absolutely. But she effectively loaded the idea in my mind that she might spend some time at her friend's when she returned. Still having her on Find My iPhone, a few days into no contact, she was at this friend's. I asked her where she was as I was beginning to doubt it but she reassured me and told me at a friend's. More days go by and I tell her she needs to make a decision thinking that if there's nobody else, which she had sworn to me on her family's lives there wasn't, then it can't be that hard to get her head straight. She tells me her mind is made up and she wants to be alone. A few days later, having taken me off Find My iPhone, she shares her Uber ride with me from the same house and now I know it's not just a friend but I say nothing. A few days later Uber ride again. I confront her and she denies it again. We block each other on everything and I just can't get it out of my head that she's been lying to me, and at this point I'm sick with anxiety, I can't eat or sleep. I then see from Spotify, she has 1 follower and follows 1 person. Their playlists are basically messages to each other, they're 25 BTW. And then the penny drops, and I know that she's been messing around with this guy. I call her and she picks up, oh god, then hangs up. She texts me apologizing for being rude and I say tell me the truth. She tells me that I was right and there was someone else. But she didn't leave for him and that she had been unhappy for a while which she must have forgotten to mention. She'd only been talking to him, apparently, and only since the start of December, apparently. And was now in love with him. It was like I was speaking to a complete stranger. He buys me flowers, he takes me out. He's also a student with no job, meanwhile I work 50 hours a week minimum, with professional exams to revise for on top of that in my own time and still make time to do things with her. I worked these hours and this job so we could have the future she had always dreamed of. The girl I loved for 9 years walked out, let me believe it was all on me. Asked me for space so she could pursue things with this new guy, lied to me so that I wouldn't close the door on her and then treated me like a complete stranger 1 month after the fact. She had let me blame myself for a month, knowing how utterly devastated she had left me to the point I developed a deep depression and anxiety. She'd asked me for Christmas and birthday presents while talking to this boy. She let me think she was going to try and work things out. But really just couldn't tell me the truth. And I still don't believe that this was only going on in December and I think they slept together before she came back, but I guess I'll never get the whole truth. Any thoughts? Note also, she admitted that the house she had been staying at was this guy's house and that she did lie about it being her friend's.